Alrighty, let's take a look at this question. We have the graph of the square root of f of x, and they tell us it has a range from 0 to 9, and we can see that on the graph. It gets as high as 9 and as low as 0. Okay, and what is the question asking? If f of x is a quadratic function, so that's a parabola on the graph, then a point which cannot be on the graph of y equals f of x. Now we're given the square root of f of x, so why don't we kind of turn it back into the original function by doing the opposite. So to get f of x, what we're going to do is we're going to take the root of f of x that we were given and square it. Now what I mean by that is that f of x is basically y coordinates. So what we're going to do is we're going to square the y coordinates on this graph given, and that should give us the graph of f of x. Okay, so let's see. Well, we could start with the bottom points. If we square y equals 0, we still get 0. So those points are still going to be the same. And let's do the top point as well. Gives us an idea of the graph. So if we take 9 and we square 9, I might have said square root on the zeros, but it's square. If we square 9, we get 81. So 9 squared, 81. So this graph could be, I'm just going to randomly draw it somewhere up here, as high as 81. So the graph might have looked something like this, and we know it was a parabola, so it would have kept going down like this originally. But of course, when we did the square root of this graph, all the negative y values down here disappeared, and any positive y values were square rooted, which is why that point went down to 9. Okay, so now that we have an understanding what the original graph looks like, let's consider what might have been on the original graph. So point that cannot be on the graph. Okay, so negative 14, negative 63, negative 14, negative 63. Yeah, that's a possibility. That one could have been on the graph, so not our answer. Negative 7 and positive 56. So if I go over to negative 7, go up, yeah, we would definitely be in the positive category in that region. Okay, so B is not our answer. 4 comma 90, so 4, and wait a second, 90 is bigger than 81, and we know the highest point on our graph of the f of x would have been 81, so that is greater than 81, so this point cannot be on the graph, so that is your answer. Alrighty, I hope that helped.